let's take a look at how Season 25.S1.1 affects Pyke. But first, why not start off the new season one step ahead? With Skill Gap, you can get an exercise routine specifically tailored to your needs. Be it the need of landing your skill shots while dodging, remembering to check the minimap while focusing on everything else, or just focusing on one sole objective in a safe environment simulated with the purpose of helping you improve. These are of course only a few examples out of the many options that you can choose from. I still believe that Celestial is better than Bloodsong. Keep calling me delusional, but people have actually started picking up on it too. The slow it gives makes it so much easier to hit your skill shots, while at the same time it helps you survive burst, which if you haven't noticed, there is a lot of at the moment. With the amount of survivability that I gain from Celestial Opposition, the runes I usually take, combined with the boots I go, I am free to go full lethality to max out my abilities' scalings. Therefore, I go Umbral, which is absolutely core for Pyke. It denies the enemies any vision, meaning that they have no clue where you are, and must respect that you can be anywhere. After Umbral, I finish my boots if I haven't already, and a lot of people wonder when they should buy boots before Umbral. The way that I choose which one I buy is if I can buy a full item or a component, I choose a full item. If I can choose between a full Serrated Dirk, which is a component, versus the 300 gold boots plus 2 longswords, I very often choose the Dirk, because that is a massive spike early in the game. While there are some matchups where you really need the boots early on, and you're gonna want to prioritize them. After Umbral and boots, you want Edge of Night. With the Celestial and Edge of Night combined, you are pretty difficult to pin down or burst. Now that's the core part of the build that I would go in just about every game. Everything after that is situational. The only exception is the occasional Serpent's Fang first or second item, because of the disgusting shield meta that we now live in. There's also a lot of healing going around, but you will rarely ever be able to consistently proc the anti-heal as Pyke, so it's someone else's job to buy it. Most of the time I go Yuma's Ghostblade after the core build, to be quicker on the map while also gaining that juicy lethality. In this mage inflated time that we live in, more of my Morpheus is often needed to survive the many disgusting burst mages out there. Voltaic Cyclosword is for fun and has no place in a ranked game. End of discussion. Axiomarch would be a better option if you want to opt for that build path. Depending on the amount of chaotic teamfights in your games, the reduction on your ult's cooldown might actually be kinda goated. Lastly, QSS can be crucial against shit like Malzahar or Warwick if they focus you a lot with their highly skill-expressive CC abilities, but I still rarely buy it. Now, don't think I forgot about them boots. Which boots to choose will depend on your game. For instance, if they have a lot of CC and some AP, I would highly recommend going Mercs. Or of course, if they just have a lot of AP. And if they have somewhat of a full AD team or a team that relies heavily on basic attacks, plated steel caps will help you out a lot. If you want to lose, or you're the type of guy that likes to play Dark Souls 2, you go Symbiotic Souls. While if they have a lot of slows and you can afford to neglect the other boots, Swifties are so nice. Not only does it cripple Ashe and Janna players, but it actually negates some of your self-slow during Q-cast. Ionians are greedy, but with the right runes they could be viable. Because you maximize your summoner spell haste, giving you very low cooldowns on flash and ignite. But what about the new runes? Sixth Sense seems utterly useless. Way too long of a cooldown and you will be going Umbral anyways, so what's the point? While Grizzly Mementos and Deep Ward both seem pretty solid. You can honestly pick between either of them, while I would recommend that you choose depending on matchup or playstyle. You take the Grizzly mementos to deny vision more often, so if you tend to remove more vision than you place, then it might be for you. While Deep Ward is to maintain more vision, so if you place more vision than you remove and rely more heavily on your deep vision, I recommend that you go this. Big new rune for us Pyke players in Sorcery, Axiom Arcanist. Psych! That shit is terrible for Pyke. Increased damage to ult, won't affect the execution threshold. Increased healing with ult, Pyke doesn't heal with ult. Increased shielding with ult, Pyke doesn't shield with ult. 7% reduction to current cooldown on ult and takedown, Pyke doesn't... Oh wait, hold up. This actually does something. Not a lot though, so considering 3/4 of the rune is completely useless to us, let's just not. These are the runes that I use in my game. Cheap Shot and Sudden Impact are so similar, I genuinely can't tell you which one is better. Cheap Shot has a much lower cooldown, which is why I take it, but Sudden Impact gets procced by every ability except Q. Another reason why I prefer Cheap Shot is because I start trades and fights with either E or Q anyways, which procs it every time. I switch between Grizzly Mentos and Deep Ward depending on what I want to do, as I mentioned earlier in the video. You can choose between Relentless Hunter or Ultimate Hunter, but I wouldn't recommend Treasure Hunter. Although these are just up to preference, to be honest. On the secondary tree, I go Second Wind and Revitalize every game. This gives an insane amount of healing after trades and fights, while I stopped using Bone Plating after realizing that its passive only applies onto the first target that attacks you, which is more often than not the support. However, I've started experimenting with Font of Life instead of Second Wind into engaged supports, to give my ADC a better chance during fights in the bot lane, as it heals us both when I CC someone. Tier 3 boots are here, and they are crazy OP, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that you should play for the Feats of Strength, which means that you now have to be more active when the grubs spawn, while also trying to get the first turret of the game. In addition to this, you need to learn how to set up the objectives better. I have already made a guide on this topic, which is guaranteed to help you out, so make sure to check that out. First Blood should be gained almost every single game when you play Pyke, by simply doing the invade into cheese strat. Even if you only get their flash, that still guarantees a kill later in lane, most often the second you hit level 2. And if you take their flash away and kill them during the invade, you pretty much get 2 to 3 kills guaranteed, which is sadly what you're going to need for that feat of strength now, 3 kills. But as Pyke, you should honestly be leading your team to glory with that one. Over to the new epic monster, Atakhan. Voracious Atakhan gives you a free respawn, where if the enemies kill you, they only get 100 gold, regardless if you have bounties or not. They also gain 0 XP and you respawn in base a few seconds later. If you get this Atakhan, you have to play for it. If you kill it, then you can have one big psychotic play with your team that might not even be worth it, but seeing as you instantly respawn and the enemies don't, it actually becomes worth it. You can force towers, neutrals or teamfights with this, and always come out on top. While Rune's Atakhan might be even more broken, I honestly can't tell which is more broken. It literally boosts every other objective stats you have by 25%, in addition to giving you a shit ton of blood petals that gives you and your team a lot of adaptive force and XP. TLDR, play for Atakhan in every game you can. Don't forget to check out the links in the description, the Discord server, my Twitch, and Skill Gap. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact me through Discord or comment down below. Please subscribe if you want to see more educational Pyke content. Thank you for watching, and may the odds be ever in your favor.